Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are continuing in our series of videos with respect to inspiration, information, guidance, and I am reminded this morning of a very curious incident. It's a medrash in Parshas Toldos in the book of Exodus. When the Romans were about to break into the temple, this coming Sunday is Tisha, which marks the destruction of the temple, the second temple, and they were about to go in, but they needed a guide. Basically, they wanted someone who could quickly show them where everything was, because it was very important that not only the place be destroyed, but anything of significance be taken as a symbol of defeat. So they got this character whose name was Yosef Meshisa. This was a secular, non-religious Jew, a trader, and he basically volunteered to show them around. And sure enough, we're right now, as the time of this recording, we're in the 9 days. The walls had been breached. The Romans were about to enter, and this character, Yosef Meshisa, he's about to tour them around. And sure enough, he shows them, this is that, this is everything. And the Romans were very grateful, and they said, "Listen, you've been a real sport about this, so you can ask whatever you want. You can take whatever you want." So, as if he wasn't acting low enough, they're inside the sanctuary, inside the temple, and he says, "I'd really like the menorah, the gold candelabra, the gold lamp with the branches. I want that, very big, made out of gold." And the Romans, and they're now on the way walking out, before looting the place and burning it and knocking it down. And they said, "Sorry, Yosef, no, that's not going to happen." He says, you said I could have anything I want." I said, No. That menorah, that's a symbol of the Jewish people. That's a symbol of this country. We're going to take that to Rome. We're going to parade it up and down the street, and that's going to be the symbol of our victory. And sure enough, not only did they do that, but eventually the Ark of Titus, if anyone's been to Rome, to the Roman Forum, it stands to this day, and it shows the Romans carrying off the gold menorah. So they said, no, Yosef, that ain't happening. Now they're outside the temple. Now they're sitting standing in the courtyard having this argument. And he says, "You can have whatever you want. You can have the little golden altar. You can have, but you're not taking the menorah. That's for us." And Yosef Meshisa does an amazing, incredible thing. He says, "I can't go back in there." And the Romans were puzzled. They said, "Why?" "Well, it's not bad enough I went in there once and showed you around. I have to go back and anger God further?" And the Romans were amazed. They says, whoa. All of a sudden you're being all religious, you traitor. You 2 seconds ago inside you were showing us all around, and now you're this big pious person. What are you, nuts? You expect us to buy that? He says, "I can't go in there. I've angered my God." The Romans were so angry at him that eventually, because they figured maybe he was up to something, they, as Romans often do, they tortured Yosef Meshisa, trying to get the quote-unquote real reason why he was acting this way. And all he could do was say, "I've angered my God. I've angered my God." And eventually his heart gave out, and he died. And so Rebbe's recently asked, what was going on over here? He walks into the Beis Hamikdash, a traitor, and he walks out this big chassid. I mean, like, what's the deal? And an interesting point of view was given by the Ponevezher Rav, who said, when Yosef Meshisa was in the temple, when he was actually inside the sanctuary, the Kedushah, the holiness of the place overcame him. So as they were walking out, and he was asking for the menorah, and when he left a different person than he went in. The experience of being inside changed him completely. So when he went outside, he was completely transformed. He was actually, genuinely, he became a pious person. He wasn't putting on an act. He didn't have some sort of trick up his sleeve. He was being sincere. And such was the power of the temple and God and the artifacts. It transformed people. Those of you who've been to Jerusalem or have heard about it, there's something called the Jerusalem complex. People will go to Jerusalem and all of a sudden they'll get, not possessed, but they'll be caught up in the holiness of the place. And there is a Kedushah for people who've been there, especially if you've been to the wall. There's a feeling that you can have when you're over there. It's quite powerful. But sometimes being somewhere, it can change you, and you can be transformed in an instant. That's the power of Kedushah. That's the power of holiness. That's the power of God. We're going to be doing more stories along this line. Please come back. Please watch. I hope they're of some use to you. And until next time, on behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.